just want to try out a little science experiment, if you will. And I figured just in case it turns out to be anything interesting, I wanted to get it on camera. This is my male false water cobra, Hydrodynastes gigas. This dude, I call him Bob. As you can see, he is extremely lightly colored, really beautiful golden pigment, and that was not the case when I got him originally, when he was produced over at the East Bay Vivarium in Berkeley. When I picked this guy up, he was pretty dark. I'll put a picture of Dark Bob here. But I've been keeping him in a cage with UVB light. Since keeping him under that UVB, he has lightened up overall significantly and become incredibly golden in coloration, and some of that patterning is really quite faint. And then on the flip side, this is my female false water cobra. I call her Ventress. As you can see, compared to Bob, she is much darker, more black on both the head, the back, and also more black on her ventral. Get a good look at that. She is actually from a line of false water cobras that have been selectively bred to be high gold, but she's a lot darker than the one that isn't. And I have not been keeping her under UVB lighting. I do plan to, but I haven't been yet. So what I'm gonna try is I'm gonna swap cages. I'm gonna put her in the cage with the UVB set up, and I'm gonna put Bob in the cage without it. And we're gonna see how their pigment changes over the next couple days. I am very curious whether the difference in light and dark and how much black is present in these patterns is a product of UVB exposure. Let's check it out. As you can see, aside from the UVB difference, the two setups are just about the same size, same heat, same hides, yada yada. So really the main difference is just the presence of that UVB light. So here we go, the darker one, Ventress, going into Bob's UVB cage. Oh yeah, did you know falsies can climb? They sure can. And doing cage swaps like this with your own animals can be a really good way to provide enrichment as well, because she now has an entirely new set of smells and objects that I'm sure smell like Bob specifically, that now she can cruise around and explore and try to leave some of her own scent, especially for an active diurnal snake like false water cobras that are always out and about. They're probably really well clued in to scent trails and things of that nature. She was produced by my good friend and professor, Dr. Zach Loafman in West Virginia. And again, she is from a selectively bred high gold line of false water cobras. Yeah. Anger. Leather gloves just for the safety factor. These are, of course, a rear fang venomous species that can potentially cause some icky reactions if your body doesn't like their secretions. Got some fresh water, and now here we go. We'll let Bob be enriched and explore what was Ventress's cage. All right, I'll check back in with y'all in a few days, and we'll see how each of the different snakes is looking.
3 weeks later.
Let's check in with the falsies and see if there's any noticeable change. He kind of looks the same to me. He still obviously is incredibly light colored. His base color is nice and pale. His patterning, maybe a little bit more black, negligible. What I'm seeing here is that this snake, more or less, retained its pigment from the beginning of the experiment. It is not a significant change that I can perceive with my naked eye. Now, it is entirely possible that if we analyze the pigment here with imaging software that can detect those small differences in true pigmentation, there might be a change that I'm not able to discern, but for the sake of this little experiment, I'm gonna go ahead and say that the lack of UV did not change this boy's appearance significantly. He is just simply a light-colored example. And that is very interesting because, as I showed you guys, he wasn't as a hatchling. He was pretty dark. So I don't know what that's about. I know falsies are known to change color, and they are entirely capable of doing so. So I guess this guy just decided he was going to be doing his best hypo impression. Nobody freak out. I know that the hypo falsie stuff in the US is a little sketchy. I'm just using that word. Alright, let's see what happens to the female that has been under UVB. Doesn't look all that different to me. Now, of course, it has been a few weeks, so you guys that are watching this video have a better idea of what they used to look like than I do at this point. So if you think I'm missing it, if this looks different to you, let me know. Comment down below if you think you see more of a difference than I do. But as far as what I'm seeing here, different snake, same story. I'm not seeing anything that is significant enough. Same disclaimer, it's entirely possible that with better imaging software that is a little bit more skilled at determining changes in pigment, there might be some, but it's not significant enough for me to call this anything special. She's still pretty damn gorgeous though. Look at that snake. I love falsies. And again, I'm making a choice to work with them a good bit now when they're small, so that when they are giant rear fang beasties, hopefully they are a little bit more workable, a little bit more socialized, if you accept such terms. And there you have it. A few disclaimers. Disclaimer number 1, I only did this for a couple weeks. That boy has had UVB for a lot longer than that. Maybe if I left them for longer under the different conditions, something would happen. Number 2, I am not at all intending to say that UVB is not beneficial for your false water cobras. I was very simply only looking into change of pigment. I do think that UVB, while maybe not essential, is probably beneficial. Moving on from that can of worms, I'm gonna be honest, I was debating whether or not I should even put this video up because I didn't see anything particularly interesting, but I decided to do it anyway because it is a good lesson, and that lesson is that rarely in science do you actually get the dramatic results that you hypothesize at the beginning. And just because the findings of this little mini bedroom study were not significant, that doesn't mean that they are not valuable. In a case like this, nothing happening is still something happening in regards to answering the original question. Will something happen? No, not really. At least not in this instance. Which leads me to my next disclaimer. 4. This is a sample size of 2. That means nothing. So all that to say, this was just for fun. I still think it's interesting enough at least to post, and I hope that you all understand what I'm trying to get at with this little spiel. Everything can be an opportunity for learning when you're trying different things with your animal, even if what you observe is pretty much no change. That still tells you something. So I hope you found this interesting, even though we didn't have dramatic results. And if you have any thoughts, questions, anything of that nature, please do comment that down below. And as always, my name is Lucas. Find me at Centralian Exotics on all of the various thingies. Catch me on Carpets and Coffee every Friday with Riley Jimison and Eric Burke, and sometimes Owen McIntyre, the NPR team. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Thanks for watching. See ya.